Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League. The break week last week to rejoin the Tier 1 lobby here for the 5th round of 8 at the Japanese Grand Prix at the infamous Suzuka racing circuit, the only figure of 8 circuit on the F1 calendar, and a very traditional one at that. If you go wide or make a mistake, there's not a lot of places with runoff. You tend to get just grass or gravel, and that makes this place a very big challenge for drivers, but also very exciting to watch. Taking you through the action tonight, as always, is myself, JBH, and alongside me is Mikey RK13. Mikey, good evening. Welcome back after break week. It's been a bit of a lonely week without any racing, but here we are back at Japan.
Indeed, mate. Obviously, the home of Honda, ironically, in the motorsports. Obviously, with Spoon back in the day. But no, it's been a nice week to rest up and get ready to jump on the comms with you again. So, but no, looking forward to a good 27 laps around Japan. So it's always an interesting one. Obviously, especially around the first sector. But see who can master see who can master it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The Suzuka circuit been on the calendar for a long time, so it had a small hiatus when Fuji became the Japanese Grand Prix in sort of the late noughties area, and obviously Fuji also featured back in the 70s and 80s, I think. But Suzuka been on the calendar for a long time. It has not been replaced for quite some time, just because I think of the history of it and the fact that the circuit is the way it is. It just is not necessarily one of the easiest to overtake on, but you can pull off some very interesting moves, especially through the likes of the S's Dunlop, and then obviously coming out of Spoon 3130R into the Casio Triangle. And obviously the DRS down to turn number 1 and 2, which, as we've seen in the past, turn 1 and 2 on the first lap can be very chaotic.
Yeah, obviously just the way it sort of compacts. Obviously mid corner gets quite tight, so obviously the guys have to give each other enough room. But it always brings on some interesting. There's always a safety car. I don't think I've done a race at Suzuka where there's not been some sort of a safety car or a VSC. But obviously this season, the guys have showed us sometimes when we've predicted a possible safety car, they've obviously got through it without it. So could this be another one?
So yeah, I know we are sort of halfway for Owen, but I don't know whether we are going to get going very shortly and see if Owen can get in through during qualifying, as we do have a 18-minute qualifying session to come. Oh, apparently Owen's here, right, get in the car and let's get going. It's time to go for the Japanese Grand Prix. It's taken an age, but we're finally here. I mean, it's partly the reason we didn't start the stream on time. We were slowly waiting to see the outcome of this, but we are going to get going.
The boys from Woking sort of forgot some parts at the airport, so I had to whiz back for them. So, but no, it's starting in 10 seconds. Obviously, short qualifying, 18 minutes. So, I look forward to this.
So, obviously, 18 minutes of qualifying to come, followed by a 27-lap race. Whilst we're waiting for qualifying to load, just looking at the standings as we head into this second half of the season. Sydney in the control seat, 3 wins from 4 races.
Oh.
And that's an all from Mikey, because I think that means we've got some weather on the cards, but we'll come to that very shortly.
It looks like wet weather.
very much wet weather. But to the standings, Sydney does lead the way by 15 points to Bjorn de Boer. Paul Racetech, who's sadly not here tonight, which is a big shame because he's right in this fight. He's 16 behind Sydney. The Steps 21 behind ARL in the top 5 with 35 points, 26 off the lead. In terms of constructors, Red Bull are leading the way by 23 points. The Racing Bulls are currently in second, 23 off of the Red Bulls. So sister team sort of inter-company battle. McLaren currently third, Alpine fourth, Aston Martin fifth. The McLaren team jumping both Alpine and Aston Martin last week at Las Vegas. But we do have some considerably wet weather. Qualifying, I'm not sure has started just yet, or it could be that everyone is now looking.
30 seconds in.
Well, that's sometimes it says that, but sometimes that's just where we're waiting for things to load. But we could.
I know I'm on 17 minutes 20, so I don't know if obviously the guys are probably just looking at setups.
Obviously, bear in mind they do, or somebody has left the session. So our Steam director will have to try and get him back in. Yeah, because obviously I know you still have to go through all the tyre allocation phase as well.
Yeah.
But we are live. Everyone obviously just looking at the weather, trying to work out what to do. Denmark is going to be the first man out on a lap here. And it is going to be wet tyres.
Sorry. Oh, wet tyres, okay.
I'm just going to quickly adjust some party settings.
Obviously, we're always prepared at IRL.
Well, the problem is, as anyone who is on a PlayStation 5 knows, you generally have to mess around with the mix of the party audio for every single game. It's never really consistent. But, so, back with it anyway. We do have a couple of people who are looking to maybe go out on intermediate tyres. One of those being the man who's just come on circuit, Mercked in the Haas.
Obviously, do correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's his second or third race back with us smacked at the moment, so
yeah,
obviously pretty good. Obviously, if someone can make the inters where there's a good chance that it's going to be marked, obviously from that, but obviously Clarkson's feel he can get the power down on the L inters as well. So quite a few people going for the intermediates here, Joel, to be fair. Obviously Denmark the only one obviously testing it on the full wets, but
I think it's because if you're going to try the intermediates, you're better off doing it now.
In qualifying, in case it is raining through the race.
Exactly that, yeah. But not, well, it's not even that. It's actually more of the fact, if it continues to rain, it's going to get worse. So the only time the intermediates will be at their fastest will be the start of the session, if the rain is set to continue throughout the session. And it's quite interesting actually, because on my race control it says it's pretty much like it's like thunderstorm conditions out here.
Oh, typical Suzuka weather then, basically.
Yeah,
I've noticed always the session at Suzuka is literally just throwing it down. There's never, obviously in my experience, you probably will correct me if I'm wrong here, to be honest. From memory, I don't think there's been a single session over the whole weekend in actual F1 where it's not rained. But I imagine you will correct me if I'm wrong, sir.
I think we have had a weekend without any rain, but I'd have to sort of scour back the records. But we're going to aboard Jeremy Clarkson in the Williams. Let's have a look as we head through this Suzuka circuit down towards turn 1 and 2. Hit the brakes as late as you dare. Oh, and he's just gone completely off wide. That'll be a lap invalidation, and we'll have to try and find someone. Yeah, he's a bit late. Doesn't quite know who we're on board with. We're on board with a Kick Sauber of someone. We'll find out at the end. Into the S's. Left, right, up to the left. Now, I haven't driven much in the wet in this game, so I'm not quite sure exactly how the cars fully handle, but the Sauber drifting its way as we head up towards Dunlop Curve. And Dunlop, one of those ones in the dry you can take very, very quickly. Down to Degner, and just not quite nailing the apex. Denmark does go quicker so far, 44.4, but he's able to set a time. Degner 2 then with the Sauber, and then you come out of there up towards the hairpin. Again, choose your braking point wisely, because you don't particularly want to go deep on this corner, but You also want to try and keep the steering at a shallow angle as you can possibly get the nice balance. I think this is 270R or 170R, something like that. Just absolutely flat long right-hander, then into spoon. Double apex, left-hander. Bring it out wide and then bring it back in for the second, which is slightly tighter, so the later you get the turn in on that one, the better. Merc says a 42.7. Up towards the infamous flat-out left-hander on 30R. Very touch of a lift there from the Sauber, then into the Casio triangle, drop it all the way down to second. Normally you'd be ramping it all over the curbs a little bit to try and shorten the circuit in the wet. You don't really want to touch curbs. Out of there, through the final corner, up to the line.
And 43.4.
43.4 for Louis in the Sauber.
That's not a bad effort, to be fair. Who's next? Oh, Owen's coming in hot, I believe.
Going into the Casio triangle with this, I believe, the psychic chip just behind him. It's only the Alpines that have gone out on the wet tyres, so Owen goes fourth. And the problem is, I think the Sydney now puts in a 42.3.
Oh, Bjorn with a 42.6.
You're very close. The question is, what is? Where's ARL? There's ARL. He's invalidated this lap, but I think this is a cooldown lap. I wonder if he went out on the wets and came back in for the inters. The Wolf. See a tier 2 graduate up to tier 1. Got a lot of pace to offer, has the Wolf. Obviously he hasn't done many races this year, which probably hasn't helped him in the cause of tier 1, but we know he's got good pace in that Mercedes.
Max took it down just shy of 142 dead.
Here's the one thing with the wet session is you do tend to fill the car up a lot more maybe for the whole session, so we expect times to maybe come down a little bit with the lesser fuel load as ARL goes to start a lap.
Wow. Steph's gone fourth with a 142.8.
Jeremy Clarkson goes fastest with a 41.8. Meanwhile the Wolf out of the Casio triangle, down the hill. It's a 227.3. That's obviously not his sort of pace, but he'll be going again to see what he can achieve. ARL slowly getting the hang of this car this season. He performed really well at Las Vegas. He had a bit of a rough start, but he really made it count near the end. Obviously nearly got that podium if it wasn't for Sydney getting that penalty time back.
Yeah, obviously to be fair, two good performances from the Racing Bulls in the past two races. Obviously with Astube with Austria, and obviously ARL in Viva Las Vegas. But yeah, see if you can keep it off this evening and bring home that podium.
Yeah, unfortunately, no teammate tonight. Which I mean, it can hinder them in the teams championship, but it might help ARL in terms of the fact he won't have to worry about anyone double stacking with him in that pit box. Should that become the case, Yellow Geeson puts in a 145.2 so far. Not quite sure where he is out on the circuit right now. He's just coming through 270R.
Next for 141.3. This is getting quite close between the top five. Well, the top four, should I say, sorry, obviously they keep changing places between them. So it's pretty impressive. So who's our next one to come over? Will be Jeremy Clarkson.
ARL coming up to the line on his latest attempt. Now across he goes, a 41.8, puts himself into the top four.
Wow.
Joint time with Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson obviously on a bit of a slow lap in the end. And is that Louis? Yeah, that is Louis up into second place now. A 41.7 for the Sauber. He is obviously a reserve. He's not affiliated with Sauber this season at the moment. Possibly trying to get himself a contract with them with that sort of qualifying performance.
But no, that's a brilliant lap, to be fair, by ARL, to be fair. That's really good. But who's on next? Is that Aston Martin?
Now, beyond a Boa into the pits, so he's obviously decided he's had enough of these tyres. Sydney starting a lap. Owen,
fourth?
Owen go, yeah, I was just say there was a McLaren coming up to the line, and Owen puts himself into the top 4. You feel the Alpines at the moment. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Denmark into the pits. I think we're going to see both Alpines into the pits for intermediate tyres, because those wets are just not working like they thought they would. I mean, I guess it's
It's a good
sort of,
try.
well,
It,
it makes you wonder if the game is slightly realistic in the fact that the cars don't go out on full wet tyres in real life. So why would you go out them in the game? Because let's face it, if the game replicates it, you almost never need those full wet tyres.
especially this year. So it's just, but no.
Interesting, the steps have stayed out. He's going to keep going on these full wet tyres. I'm not sure that's the right decision, but obviously I'm not the one in that cockpit. Meanwhile,
Maybe
Sunboy,
some race pace for later, obviously for the feature.
well, as Louis puts it
Louis,
on pole
wow.
position, a 41-1. He's got that Sauber hooked up. But the question has to be raised. Has he set that car up for the wet? Because I do have a feeling the race could be dry. And I think
Obviously, that's the worst thing you want as well. A really good qualifying performance to then go, oh great, let's get into the race, and then it's cracking the flags as they say. And it's like, oh, just a bit off the steps there. Obviously, clipped the curb, but no. Like you said, Joe, obviously it could be set up for the Sydney throwing a vote. Oh wow. Okay, so we've gone from like
coming down.
142s, and we're literally gradually going down, and we've still got just under 6.5 minutes left of qualifying.
I can see a slightly better line appearing in the road, and obviously fuel loads burning down. Sunboy puts in his first time of the session. Is a 42-1 to put himself into the top 8. It is a good time from him.
If I'm correct, was that a 1.4 difference from 7th to 1st?
Yes, you are correct about that one. Well, just over 1.4, nearly 1.5.
Yeah.
ARL currently coming up towards 130R for his next lap.
Steps is coming in.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. He'll probably come and grab some intermediates and try and go fast. I wonder, because Denmark has swapped to the Inters, and I wonder if they're in a chat together, potentially, and Denmark's gone, yeah, you need to get out on these intermediates. They are ridiculously better, as ARL comes into the pits instead. Maybe to get a new set of boots on that car. Psychic Chip continues round for his latest attempt.
Wow, second? 1 minute 40. Oh, both farmers have received the kick Salbers must generally want that contract. Wow, okay. It's pretty impressive.
Some good times from the two reserves in that Sauber team car. Got a few people in the pits at the moment. Denmark is, and this could show you potentially. I mean, we'll follow Denmark through sector 1. Let's see how much these intermediates are worth as he goes through sector 1. Oh, big back end swapper almost going through the second set of the S's. Through Dunlop curve he goes, up over the crest, get the throttle on over the first sector line. He's nearly a second up on his best time, so that's how much intermediates are worth right now. And that's just through the S's. That's not even by the time you get through the hairpin, Spoon, 130R, and then the Casio Triangle.
Yeah, just a few quick comments in the chat, Joel. See, ARL, hallelujah, reigning the race as well. So it's going to be more interested. Obviously, Yalgisen, I can't say this. 19% chance of rain in the race. So, yeah. Quite interesting.
Denmark coming up towards the second sector line. What's the time gap now? 2.2 seconds difference. He's on for a 40.8 right now as Denmark as he comes through 130R into the Casio Triangle. Now, obviously not many corners in this third sector, but the traction element coming out of the Casio Triangle down the hill. Keep it to the right hand side for the closest run to the line. It's a 40.260 and Denmark goes provisional pole.
This is going to be, if this is wet, Jordan, it's
Merck's
just going
going
to be an
even
interesting race.
faster again. I think Merckx could be close to a 139 here. As he comes out of the Casio Triangle to the line. It's a
He is.
39.879 for Merckx. So now the question comes, Sydney, Psychic
Oh,
Chip.
Denmark's. Oh, sorry, Denmark's further down the line. Sorry, my bad, my bad.
Those in the pits need to now get out of the pits, get going round, because it's quite
Here comes some boy.
obvious that brand new Inters are going fast.
No.
Some boy actually just starting a lap there. As is the steps. The Wolf currently on a lap. He's slightly quicker at the moment. Yellow Geeson coming to the end of his lap. Puts himself in the top 5 with a 41.0, the Red Bull driver. He can't do this, he says. I say he can get in that top 5. The Wolf coming round 270R and into, I think it's 270R. Someone, or Jack's in the chat, he'll correct me without a doubt.
But here's
Three
Luke
Spoon.
as well. See what you can do. No faster.
I think Louis was just starting a lap.
Doesn't come up in mine because obviously usually comes out obviously out lap and stuff.
Yeah, I think it sometimes disappears when they enter the third sector.
Okay. I didn't realise that. I do apologise.
The Wolf into the Casio Triangle though. On his latest attempt. A yellow flag, that's for a Haas getting out of the way. Possibly Keza, who's on an outlap. As the Wolf comes to the line, it's going to be a 0.4. Does go quicker, but doesn't improve on position. Mert won't be on a lap at the moment. Keza about to start one. Is that the steps? Yeah, the steps on a lap as he heads to the final chicane and corner.
Is Clarkson on one? I think. Might be on one.
Very, very possible. And it's pole position so far for the steps of 39.156. He has drilled in a time. I'm going to keep an eye. Oh, Sydney's actually.
Jeremy Clarkson 138.
I'm just going to say this. Sydney will not improve. He has invalidated this lap he's on, and he will not get back round for another attempt. Sydney will start this race no higher than 5th place.
Sixth?
Make that 6th on the grid. As I think ARL has just popped in a time for the top 4.
Like, Psychic Chips our last one, I think. He's going to make the time board to start the lap.
Owen as well. Psychic's behind him. Beyond a Boa will probably, if he's not on a lap yet, Bjorn will be, I think, the last man on a lap with just 12 seconds remaining. And that looks like a Red Bull. I think that's going to be Sydney, just trying to keep out of the way of everyone who's on a lap behind him. But Beyond a Boa, the last man on a lap then. Denmark coming to the line. He is going quicker. Puts himself into the top 3. A 39.8. We've got a Mercedes of the Wolf. He's coming into the pits. I think Keza is invalidated. He will start at the back of the pack. Merckx, however, is going quicker again. But after, I think, possibly 1 or 2 sectors, he's not quite gained enough. He's going to have to do a lot of work into this final chicane and the final corner. The Haas looking for at least a front row start here, I think. He'll be happy with that, but what can he conjure up? Crosses the line. It's a 3rd place so far for Merckx. Steps has not improved either. Keza comes through. Who else we got? We got Jeremy Clarkson next coming up to the line.
On the way through as well.
And Jeremy Clarkson into the pits. ARL coming to the line. We've also got, I think, Yella coming to the line as well. Can Yella improve? Yes, he does. He moves to 7th. ARL to the line he comes. Can he improve on his time? No, he does not. Sunboy is coming into the pit. We've got Louis.
He's going for it.
Might as well. He's 6/10 up at the moment. Crosses the line. 4th place for Louis. We've got Psychic Chip as well. I think Owen didn't improve. Psychic Chip, what can he do? Top 7 for him. Now it's all down to the Aston Martin, who's invalidated his lap. Beyond a Boa, it's an absolute horror show for those at the top of the table. Sydney 9th, Beyond a Boa 11th.
I don't think I could have called that on the bingo card this evening, Jordan, if I'm honest with you. That is quite a massive surprise, if I'm pretty honest. But wow.
big times for the championship, because this is not going to be easy for Sydney and Bjorn now. They've got to come from the 5th and 6th row respectively to get up. Obviously, they're going to start in the points, but they're going to be targeting at least a top 5 out of this, and that's just been made very, very difficult. But Jeremy Clarkson, he's the man on pole position. We saw last week at Las Vegas, he wasn't on form.
Well, I think it'd be great for the steps though as well. Obviously, in this title fight, obviously trying to get in there a bit more. So, yeah, it's a massive shake-off. So,
here you are, your grid order for the Japanese Grand Prix. Jeremy Clarkson takes pole with Denmark and ARL on row 3. Row 4 is Psychic Chip and Yellow Geeson. Row 5, Sydney and row 7, The Wolf and Keza. And it's fair to say both of those guys have more pace to come for sure. Just not quite being able to extract it in that qualifying session.
apparently to Denmark as well, George. He's just put in the chat. I set that lap with plus 2 laps of fuel. So annoyingly, I could have been so much quicker.
Yeah, one of those things with fuel, trying to get it right, especially at the end of a session. I think that's the biggest thing when you've got a wet session, and so far it's dry in the race to at least start with. But it's such a hard thing to gauge when you've got sort of fuel in a long wet session, because you're gonna put more fuel in the car, because you're actually better off just doing consistently, just doing lap after lap after lap on the sort of wet weather tyres. So it is a hard one to judge, but it's still not a bad qualifying from Denmark though.
Well, to be fair, I think it was the same. 1.5, 1.6 seconds, splitting obviously P1 all the way down to P8, P7 or 8. So obviously, do correct me if I'm wrong in that, Jord. Obviously, I'm not great with the facts and figures of the day. But we'll just give our drivers a minute or two more. Obviously, making these setups, prepare themselves, and yeah, obviously once that happens, we'll give the go ahead.
Yeah, they're saying overfueling by 1 lap is key here. Yeah, this is one of the circuits that does tend to use fuel quite a lot, but some people may underfuel a little bit on the premise that they'll get a safety car. See, it's not an uncommon feature of Suzuka to get safety cars around here, but obviously the lesser cars that are on circuit, we do have 14 on track tonight, which is still a pretty good number for Tier 1. But obviously, compared to like Tier 2, which I think we're probably looking at sort of high teens, nearly 20 drivers again. You'll probably correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but obviously the more cars you have, the more chance you have of that safety car.
Well, it's statistics in it really, so I'd imagine so, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting to see how the guys manage. Obviously, with it looking like dry conditions, obviously I'm not too sure what our weather conditions are going to be looking like. But do you reckon there's going to be any rain at any point during the race? Or
Say that again, sorry, Mikey.
do you reckon there's going to be any rain during the race this evening?
According to my race control,
we've had the nearly ready up. Lovely.
Yeah, I believe that was the Wolf.
Okay.
Admitting that in the Discord. As we go for our formation lap, and we have a nice.
Jeremy Clarkson just getting on it.
Yeah, we have a nice mixture of tyres as well. Actually, here we've got out of 14 runners, we have 5 on the hard tyres, which is Jeremy, Louis, Sydney, Sunboy, and Bjorn. We have 5 on the medium tyre, which is the steps, Merckx, ARL, Psychic and Yella. 4 have gone on the soft tyres, whether that's intentional or not, which is the early ready up, I'm not sure, but Denmark, Owen, the Wolf, Keza, all starting on soft tyres.
Well, obviously there's the early ready, but then at the same time, you don't know if it's probably a psychological thing. Like, people are going to see them on the softer tyre. Obviously.
Well, Denmark, especially the top, starting 5th on the grid, soft tyres. Obviously, you've got Louis and Jeremy ahead of him, who's on the hard tyre. He'll be looking to make some early overtaking because he's going to be coming in earlier for what is an undercut. But the key element to that is, as in interesting race strategies, only giving a 2-stop race options between mediums, 2 softs, or 2 mediums and a soft. But back to the race. Denmark obviously will be probably coming in earlier, trying to undercut. But to make that work, he's going to have to make sure that he plans it well to come out in sort of clean air. He can't come out in traffic.
No, it should be quite. Obviously, Sydney going on the hards, Yale going on the mediums. Obviously, Bjorn going on the hards as well. Obviously, the guys that near him, obviously, like you said, really in the park are going to have a lot of work cut out for them. So obviously, that's probably why Steps has gone for the medium tyre, probably. Obviously, he doesn't have to push as much.
Well, I think Steps will be looking for a good launch off the line here. Use the extra grip of the mediums compared to the hards to almost jump Jeremy Clarkson off the line. But you can see the angle that Williams is at. You know exactly where Jeremy Clarkson is going to be heading as he comes off the line. That is a nice 40, probably good 35-degree angle there coming out of the pit box.
Not for that good for me as the beam goes.
But we are going to go to the grid. 27 laps await us at the Suzuka circuit here in Japan. We have the 5 red lights, and the second half of Tier 1 is underway here at Suzuka, and the question is who's got the best getaway. It looks like it's going to be Jeremy Clarkson who fends off that place. Very reactive though as he comes off the grid. Back to the line he goes. The steps staying out of harm's way, and it looks like we've got a clean getaway through turn 1, turn 2 as we head up towards the S's for the first time. Louis side by side with Denmark. Denmark trying to get that move made early on. There's two steps, softer compound, gets it done into 4th place. ARO and Psychic Chick were going side by side, but ARO holds on to 6th place for now. And we got further battles behind of like Sunboy and Owen side by side. Sunboy on that harder compound through Dunlop Curve. It's a good move from Owen in the end. He'll claim 10th place, and further behind you got Bjorn, Keza and the Wolf scrapping it out for track position behind. But Mikey, we got a big snap of oversteer from Bjorn de Boer coming out of Degner too. He's going to lose position to Keza. Is he going to lose position to Wolf? No, just about holds on that one as Sydney gets overtaken by Owen into the hairpin. Aero's gone backwards. He's lost a place to Psychic Chip. Coming out of the hairpin, so he's down to 7th place in the racing ball. Still looking side by side down the inside of Spoon. No, not quite going to work. Very hard to make a move into Spoon unless you're fully alongside on the entry. Not normally an overtaking place otherwise. But Mikey, that's going to be a planned move from the Saubers, even though they're not actually part of Sauber. And ARL looking to the inside of 130R, that's an unusual place, and he's actually going to cost himself some time. Yella Geeson's going to get down the inside of him into the Casio triangle. You feel, that's tight. That's
tight.
I'd say ARL's not going to be too pleased with that one, because that would have given him a track limit warning. And Yella didn't really give him any space on the inside there. So ARL's lost a couple more places. He will not be happy with that.
Just took P1.
Or has he? Still side by side out of turn 2. Does complete the move, so the Alpine up into 1st place. Merckx and Denmark side by side. Denmark trying to complete the move through the S's. Remember, different tyre compounds, a little bit of wheel banging, but they're still racing hard and fair. And Denmark does complete the move. And he is now up into 3rd and still critically in range of DRS. That's Yella Geeson has had a moment. He's obviously spun off somewhere, potentially off the curb. And I'm going to finally stop being able to stop talking. I think we're all in a line now. But Mikey, the key thing there, other than Yella's spin there, we got away extremely cleanly.
Yeah, really clean getaway to be fair. Which is credit to all our drivers. There you go. The Wolves just got to jump on Kaz there. But no, really good clean getaway from obviously all the drivers. Clean racing. Obviously, interesting move by Yella, though. But other than that, pretty, yeah, pretty clean. Obviously, surprisingly, obviously the distance between the pack, the minute, it's quite sort of congested. Obviously, there's the gap starting to form as well. Obviously between, well, actually no, it's all pretty sort of congested. This is pretty good, to be fair, to see everyone's still slightly DRS. Obviously, the Wolf's the only one who, the Wolf and Owen, sorry, who don't have DRS.
It was interesting. Louis didn't have his DRS open, even though I'm pretty certain he was. Or maybe I've just missed that. I think Owen's just overtaken. Sorry, Louis for that 6th place. I think it was my mistake looking down at my phone. Owen, I think, getting past Louis with DRS up into 6th place, using those soft tyres to good effect. You have to say though, Jeremy Clarkson right now sort of defending from Denmark by being inside the Steps' DRS zone. Denmark unable to really close in and sort of start to make an attack against Jerry, although Denmark does still have Merck just behind him, and I'm not quite sure exactly how long those soft tyres are realistically going to last, as Keza and Yella were having a little battle at the hairpin, but Keza comes out victorious so far in this battle.
But bit of a squeaky wheel by Louis there, lost place to Sydney. So the traction of the speed. Yeah, just also, there you go, Yella's made the place up on Keza. At the back. But no,
bit of a slide from Denmark coming out of the Casio triangle, and that's going to give Merck an open invitation. Come on through. Luckily, Denmark does actually have DRS, so he can pull in behind Merck, keep that position from Psychic Chip behind. But I do wonder, are those softs starting to struggle already?
I think Bjorn's just got some boy into turn 1. Sorry, Joe. So
Bjorn with a lot of work to do. Is ARL now on the back of Louis? They are obviously having to fight back through the field after a slight incident with Yella at the Casio Triangle, but on the back of that Sauber. But again, critically, the Louis got DRS on Sydney, which is not going to help AR out down that main straight.
But obviously, I'd probably think, especially when it comes to DRS around tracks like Suzuka, it is really important to obviously stick within it. Or we've got a yellow flag.
There's Keza, who has just come out of the pits.
I think the tyres might have not been warmed up as of yet.
Very much not warmed up, and I suspect he's probably clipped the curb, which is a notorious thing here at Suzuka, those S's curbs. The Wolf has now had an issue. And the Wolf,
his wing.
Yeah, he's got no front wing on it at all. So the Wolf going to be making an early pit stop here. But I think this is now showing us that the soft tyres are just not lasting.
Yeah, I think he's gone for the wing delete.
Psychic Chip now gets past Denmark, and Sydney gets past Owen. These soft tyres have not lasted. They've not done what those who started on it wanted them to do.
No, I think Owen made quite a few places up, but obviously I think the mediums will be in there, sort of getting into the swing of it now, and obviously as well as the hards, and like you said, the softs are just.
Owen's gone round. No, he hasn't. He saved it. Has he saved it?
How?
That's a
saved that?
hell of a save from the McLaren. Through Dunlop curve.
Owen, then. Absolute pirouette. There's Kaz with our first penalty of the evening. But no, what a save by the McLaren driver there.
I think this is Keza retiring from the session. So our first retirement of the day comes from Keza, completing just 4 laps in this race. So he kind of just went from bad to worse for him. At the front though, Merck is closing in on Jeremy Clarkson. 0.3 of a second separate these two former championship rivals. These two, back a couple of seasons ago, were always fighting over wins and the lead of the championship. What a big swapper for Clarkson as he comes out of the Casio Triangle. And once again, Merck gets a lovely drive out, and he's not going to say no to the open invitation of a big slide from the car ahead. And with DRS, we'll close the gap a little bit to the steps. So yellow flags through here whilst Kezabot car gets recovered by the marshals from retiring. I think we are now back to green flag through that section.
I believe we are.
Further down, Louis still has ARL for company, but this time Louis does not have any DRS. And actually, ARL's had a really poor exit through the S's into Dunlop curve. It's allowed Beyond a Boer to wreak havoc all over his gearbox as he comes through the Degners. It must be noted, Merckx, the lead of this race, is now under threat, as Merckx only 4/10 of a second behind the steps.
But Clarkson is 3/10 behind, so obviously Clarkson's going to be waiting for a move from either of these drivers to go wrong and try and pounce. So
he is, but the problem is he's still got to get the traction, because I mean he's going to be looking out of the Casio try and go down the main straight. He still has to get that traction, which he seemingly just couldn't find on the last lap. Clarkson right on the gearbox of the Haas as he go into the Casio triangle.
Sydney making a move. Sorry, Sydney just making it seem there's a door, like sort of a chance on Denmark. But yeah, these softs have gone, George.
At the front though, Merckx 4/10 of a second as the steps makes his one move available and keeps Merckx behind as Beyond a Boer has picked up a place against ARL. See that Aston Martin trying to climb its way back to the field. He's got to get up to Sydney and overtake Sydney here to try in this portion of the season. Remember, it's only an eight race calendar. I mean, granted, it's only 2 races less than our normal season, but as I think Owen's about to retire from this race, which is a big shame because I think he'd have scored points if he just finished.
Yeah, he's retired, unfortunately.
Which means now anyone who's still in this race, just finish the race. Whatever you do, doesn't matter if it's going wrong. Finish the race, you're going to get some points. But back to Bjorn. Big rear lockup from Denmark as he came down the gearbox, and it actually made Louis run a bit wide, and Beyond a Bauer having a nose round the outside of 270R. Can he get up the inside for Spoon? No, he's not quite there. But I was saying for Bjorn, obviously, even though this is only 2 races less than a normal 10 race season, those 2 races make a big difference when you're chasing down 15 points against a championship rival.
But yeah, obviously 19 laps to go, 21 laps to go, sorry. So it's all still to play for. Oh, here we go, the steps is in for a stop.
7 laps he done on those mediums.
Are they going to go for another set of mediums, or are they going to go the hards? Oh, Denmark's got the 10.
And the Alpines are double stacking.
Although this is going to work, and it has.
Oh, Denmark was had a smidge there, but not a lot.
Both went out on the hard compound. So these could be kind of go a bit of the distance, hope for possible safety car near the end of the race, I imagine.
I want to see what happens. The steps. It has come out of the pits. He is 21.1 seconds behind Merckx. So there you go. It's about a 22-ish second loss in the pit lead. Maybe 20. Maybe just under 21. It's a relatively small loss in the Suzuka pit lane here. Meanwhile, as you look further back, Louis still has Bjorn de Boer behind him. He still has ARL behind. Louis driving really well at the moment to keep the likes of Bjorn and ARL behind. He's doing very, very well. The question now, with steps coming in after just 7 laps, is that going to trigger anyone else to come in? For instance, Merckx, because now technically Merckx is now under threat from undercut, and the steps gaining more, having a bigger gap over him when Merckx comes into pits. Or is Merckx going to go for tyre delta and have better tyres after?
He's going to keep going. Psycho Chip's going to try and keep up with these 2 at the front. Obviously, absolute brilliant bit of qualifying, to be fair, for the reserve kick driver.
Kicks it down the straight. Meanwhile, Bjorn de Boer looks to the outside. I get a feeling Louis maybe just sort of let Bjorn go there. Just sort of maybe thinking, I don't need this hassle on the gearbox. I'm not in his race. he is that much quicker. Because let's face it, Bjorn did not put in a great lap in qualifying, and he invalidated his last attempt. So
got a yellow flag.
That looks like Yellow Geeson has gone off, and he's broken the front wing. But again, as we've said before, there's only 12. Psychic Chip picks up 3 seconds. That's not ideal for him after just 8.5 laps of racing. But Yellow Geeson, we've said this before, Mikey, there's only 12 left in. He just needs to finish this race to score some points, and that helps the Red Bull team.
That'd be massive, to be fair, especially against obviously the competitors. Obviously, unfortunately, we've lost the McLaren camp for this evening, so we'll be able to sort of, a few extra points over them. Obviously, the big competitors at the minute for Red Bull in the, if I remember correctly, I think it was the Alpines. Also, do correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, Joel.
The RBs, I think, are actually second in the table right now. It's Red Bull first, RB second in constructors. So obviously ARL being a sort of RB being a man down doesn't help them, as Beyond a Bow puts in a 30.9 for fastest lap. Jeremy Clarkson all over the back of Merckx once again. But yeah, the RBs obviously being a man down isn't helpful. But with Yellow Geese in there, even if he scores just 2 points this race, that's 2 more points to add to that tally, especially if Sydney beats ARL.
So, see who's pitted as of yet, just so I've got me. So, obviously the only one stopped so far is both the Alpines and the Wolf. Obviously that is still on track.
And Yellow now in the pits to change that front wing. As we go on, it's interesting to note the Steps has now pulled a second on the leaders. He is making those tyres work. Question is he going to go to the end on that set of hard tyres, or is he going to make another pit stop near the end? If he's going to make another pit stop near the end, he's got to make this stint really count. Because yes, he'll have a big tyre delta near the end, but he'll also have to make sure he sort of is able to have a gap and enough time. Sunboy gets past ARL. I'm not sure what happened to ARL there. I don't know if this is just where the mediums are starting to suffer a little bit, as ARL has a little look down the inside of the Casio triangle, can't quite find the gap, and Sunboy up into 7th place. Is ARL going to make a pit stop now? No, he doesn't. He carries on.
He's got DRS though as well. Obviously, Sunboy doesn't. So imagine those batteries going to absolute kill him. Especially going down the main straight.
I think it's a big problem. There's a lot of DRS zones that have been shortened, obviously this year and on this game. It isn't helping the drivers in these little battles. But I think ARL's tyres are just starting to go off a little bit. He's just trying to make this work to give him the best opportunity on the hard tyre right now, and make this into a one-stop race. Like I say, with the Steps, I do wonder if he's maybe thinking of a 2-stop. But again, I mean, he's poured 2 seconds so far on the leaders. He's going to have to pour a lot more than that if he wants to make a 2-stop work round here.
I think 2-stop minimum, and obviously if you can look after your tyres, obviously if we're talking about people like myself, it's probably going to be a 3-stop. I'm not great at looking after the tyres.
That depends how many wings you go through as well, but
that's a fair adjustment, and I was hoping you wouldn't say that, but never hit a Mad Molly's dial, John. Never forget that.
No, you're not quite down yet. Bjorn. It's interesting actually to note with Bjorn and Louis. Louis hasn't been dropped by Bjorn, so I wonder if Louis sort of. As Louis gets a massive bit of wheel spin. I do wonder if Merckx and Psychic Chip in the pits. I do wonder if Louis sort of half let Beyond a Barrow go, thinking actually if I could just keep up with him, I'll make up time on those around me. And obviously he's now outside that DRS because of that slide. But I think that's probably worked out a good treat that for him in the last couple of laps, because he has pulled away from the likes of ARL and Sunboy, which has helped. Obviously the Steps is out ahead of Merckx, but it's not by a lot. It's only by 1.5 corners. So the Steps, I feel the Steps is going to have to make those tyres now last to the end of this race. There's no chance he can make a 2-stop work here.
No. Do you reckon you could make a 1-stop here work? I know it sounds a bit adventurous. Oh,
Well,
Sunboy for
the
3 seconds.
drivers,
Oh,
the
you go.
drivers who have just pitted, definitely. The steps, I mean, it depends how good these hard tyres are, because those tyres now 4
Well, if
laps
there's a
old.
safe. Well, saying that, if there's a safety car, you change anyway. Well, it's
Well, you would, but you never strategize on your tyres based on a safety car necessarily.
you always base it off of me a full race with no incidents, which touch wood we've not had so far. But obviously, you still 15 and a half laps to go. Anything can happen. So
Sunboy currently in 5th place at the moment. Obviously, we got Sydney and Bjorn de Boer. They're finally together on circuit. The 2 championship protagonists. Bjorn de Boer, obviously the defending champion here. 15 points behind the man ahead of him in that Red Bull. He goes to the outside, makes the overtake. Yes, he does. He's clear before the corner.
lovely move.
Bjorn de Boer up into 2nd on the track. Not quite sure where he's going to be once all the pit stops shape out. But we'll find that out very, very shortly, I'm sure, in the next sort of 3 to 4 laps. But that's quite critical, that, for Bjorn. He's now ahead of Sydney, and he's managed to draft Louis into this fight with Sydney as well. And that's, again, a bit of a crucial move for Bjorn, because if Louis can also get past Sydney, start getting cars between them, that's more and more points back in the favour of Bjorn.
Yeah, it's not been the easiest this season, to be fair, unfortunately for Bjorn and his brother. Unfortunately this season. After the absolute masterclass the last season with the Alpines, obviously this changed the Aston Martin. Has it worked? Or is it just they've not really been that lucky, to be fair, unfortunately?
I think the thing is, obviously, the teams, obviously, Minor, unfortunately, hasn't been able to complete in every race. But in terms of the drivers, Bjorn is doing exactly what happened last season. Sydney was leading for a good portion of season 21, and Bjorn hunted him down because Sydney started making small mistakes here and there, and Bjorn hunted him down and claimed the title. And this has a very big.
That was the fast stop. Sorry, but it was ironically round 5, or round 6. Sorry, so it would have been after our break, and that was Miami, if I'm correct in thinking. Because obviously.
I think it was, yeah, but the point still stands that ARL makes a pit stop. Point still stands. Well, this is getting very deja vu like. If this is the way the second half is going to start, deja vu may be occurring in both Bjorn and Sydney here, as Sydney doesn't want to be leading the championship for the majority and then lose it near the end, that's for certain.
Obviously, ARL on the mediums. Did he go in on the mediums? Did he start on the mediums, did he, sorry?
I think he did, yes.
Let's have a look.
I am almost certain he started on the mediums, did ARL?
No, oh yeah, he did.
So he's making a 2-stop. He's very much hoping for a safety car, in my opinion. Either that, or he's hoping that those around him are going to suffer with very big tyre degradation and drop-off. This is a very interesting start. I mean, this must mean he's going medium, soft. There's no way he's going to go touch the hard tyre this race.
3 laps to go as hard.
Well, this is you can't have it 3 laps, maybe 5, because the fuel's going to be burning, so he might get 5 laps out of those soft tyres. We shall see.
Obviously, I think our closest battle at the minute is Merck and the steps.
And actually, interesting, whilst we've been focusing on other people, Merck actually has got past the steps. So that is net race lead for the Haas of Merck. I think the steps pulled the trigger too soon, or he was expecting everyone to make a 2 pit stop race, and it's not going to be working out like that for the Alpine driver.
Thing is, I suppose if the step sticks with Merck, obviously so what's the difference between them? So there's a 15-second difference between Merck and Sunboy, and then obviously 11 seconds to Louis, 4 to Sydney, and then 1.5 to Bjorn, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so if they pit, was it 21 seconds, did you say, sorry?
I think it was about 21, 22 seconds area, I believe.
Okay, so the steps has to make up about 5 seconds.
And he's going to have to make up a lot more than that. Because the problem is, he's now net race second. Right now, in order to compete for the win of this race, he has to make up about 24 seconds on Mert.
My maths just not mathing. Yeah. This is why I leave the calculations to you, Joe. Everything's right then.
Some inline updates, in-race updates from Andy Parmain, who is the team principal of RB. Apparently, for some bizarre reason, the pit crew decided to go against ARL's strategy wishes. ARL wanted to go medium hard, which would make more sense, and his pit crew decided, no, we're going to fit you on a second set of medium tyres. So someone down at Alpine is going to get the sack. Sydney comes into the pits to swap onto medium tyres. Where's he going to come out? He's behind Merck, behind Steps, behind Psychic. Where's Denmark? Far behind. So there's the gap. Sydney ahead of Denmark in this race. And that's obviously the gap that the likes of Bjorn de Boer and Louis are going to look to slot into later on.
So just looking at the position changes, I know it's not much now, but they have 11 laps to go. Bjorn's done the most with 9 positions he's gained, so not bad to be fair. So
yeah, it's not quite true positions yet though, because obviously he's still yet to pit. He's gonna probably be down, probably behind Psychic, so you can probably take 5 off of that.
No, he is getting close, but I think he's missed the RL. Oh, we've got a yellow flag.
And that looks like Yella Geeson has had another spin in his Red Bull. Keep it going, Yella. Even though it's only a point, it's still a point. And we have the leaders into the pits. Jeremy Clarkson, Bjorn de Boer, and Louis have all come into the pits. Is Sunboy going to follow? No, Sunboy is going to carry on round. I would say to lead a lap, but the others have already crossed the start-finish line in the pits.
No, Bex just took Sunboy.
Yeah, no, exactly what I was going to say. Is I would say he led a lap, but he hasn't, because the others had crossed the line in the pits, and Merck was right on him with some DRS.
No, obviously Psycho Chip in front of Clarkson here. So you don't know if this could be a bit of teamwork from the kicks. Try and help his team out a little bit. Or I imagine we'll find out shortly.
Well, we'll find out because technically they're not really teammates. It's really weird, that Sauber situation, because it's more like an F2 situation. They're in the same team, but they are technically racing for themselves. They're not actually.
The teammates, but they're not teammates.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, in F2 they are teammates in real life, but they still are fighting for themselves. They bring their own sponsorship, and that's where you get the different liveries in F2, because they do run completely different sponsorships to what they've brought to the table.
Geeson's back in for another set of softs.
Hopefully he stays in this race, because there's still at least a point on offer, and if there's a safety car that's late in this race, he could still get some more points. The big question now is, how fast can Jeremy Clarkson be on those mediums with the tyre delta? They're 5 laps newer. Sunboy 10 seconds in the pit lane. I think I just saw Sydney's picked up 3 seconds as well.
It's just coming through on the screen, so just catching up. No, obviously, I've just noticed the steps have actually pitted for a new set of hards, so. But no, can ARL make the move on the main straight? After DRS. Yeah, round the outside. Bring it back in. Yeah, quite. Hunt down Sunboy.
What that says to me about the steps is his tyre wear is very high. Because at this point you'd be thinking, why has he not gone to mediums? Why does he not have a second set of mediums for this race? I think the Steps' tyre wear is considerably higher than those that he was racing around, which is why he's had to do this 2-stop strategy. And he's had to use 2 sets of hards in the process.
But could this be quite good though? Sideways action for the Steps, bit of too much over the curb on Degness.
Meanwhile, near the front, Psychic Chip has Jeremy Clarkson for company. Now, will Jeremy Clarkson go for a move into 130R? He's going to look to the inside. Yes, he does. Down the inside, 130R. You don't normally overtake there. Space given between the two. Good driving between Jeremy and Psychic. And that is a position gained for Jeremy Clarkson, second overall. Beyond Boa is going to try and follow here. He's got good traction out of the Casio Triangle. He's going to be already alongside. DRS opens. Battery's definitely going to be in use here for Bjorn. He'll want to clear Psychic as fast as possible down towards turn 1. Move is complete, and Bjorn is still right on the back of Jeremy. And Beyond a Boa has manufactured this in such a way, I think he's potentially here to challenge for a win, because there's still sort of 8-9 laps remaining in this race, and they're only 6 seconds behind Merckx on the softer compound.
Yeah, obviously we've seen from other drivers who are able to at least get a good 12 or 13 laps at the mediums. So, but obviously with that move from Jeremy Clarkson, then obviously speed and power, as the man says himself. Solve any problem, speed and power. Hey ho.
Yeah, I mean, I would say hammer time, but that means something completely different in Clarkson's dictionary.
Yeah, and we don't trust that guy with hammers. So.
Now the question is, how fast does Jeremy Clarkson close in on Merckx? And Bjorn will follow Jeremy Clarkson here. There's no doubt. And I just get that funny feeling that if they do start closing in on Merckx quite quickly, Bjorn will not challenge Jeremy until the end of this race. Because
yeah, he'll sit behind him for the DRS, obviously for that last lap, and then challenge. But then are they going to start leapfrogging each other? Are they going to work together to catch me?
That's the other question, and we're going to see it answered in a minute, I think. But ultimately, they need to have the faster driver in front. And here comes Beyond Boa. He looks to the inside. Jeremy's not going to defend that one. That's good stuff from the pair. The Wolf has made another pit stop. He is just come out, and I'm hoping, I think Bjorn got away with it, but the marshal suddenly pulled a yellow flag out because the Wolf was going very slow to make sure he didn't get in anyone's way.
Another yellow.
We have some boys through. I think that's just Wolf trying to keep out of the way of drivers, just being a little bit slow, rather than throwing a white flag, which is what would normally happen. The in-game marshals throw a yellow instead, which is slightly annoying to most drivers because it means you can't overtake in that corner.
Yeah, just from the looks of it, Yellow's car was ghosted for a bit there, so I'm not really too sure what's happened there, but fair enough.
Meanwhile, the gap 5.5 seconds between Merckx and Bjorn. If they're going to catch Merckx, they're going to have to catch him at a much greater rate of knots.
Was it 3.5 tenths per lap, give or take? No.
I think your math maybe
off,
slightly
7.5 tenths. Sorry. So
yeah, sounds a bit more right. I think they started this lap at 6 seconds. As Yellow Geeson picks up a fastest lap, but I did just see, I'm pretty sure he picked up a time penalty as well. So that could get appealed, that fastest lap.
Yeah, because he's ghosted.
He's probably ghosted because he's been lapped. Lapped cars tend to be ghosted. So that'd be why he's ghosted, because he's a lap down. But it's been more sort of appealed on the basis that he picked that fast lap up with a track limit infringement. And we have seen that. We have seen this in the past in Tier 2 last season. Canada, when Jack picked up a fastest lap, but it got taken away from him for doing that fast lap with a track limit warning. And that obviously got flagged because of the because he got a 3-second penalty to go with it.
Sorry, Joe, I've just noticed the time. It's gone literally a second now.
Well, I'm just looking at the last lap times, and Merckx had a 30.8, Bjorn a 29.8. So that is the timings. It must be also said that Jeremy Clarkson is starting to lose ground to Bjorn de Boer. He's not been able to stick with him as nicely as Bjorn did when they were the other way around, as Yellow gets out of the way. Just come across. Merck's last lap, a 31.0. What will Bjorn de Boer's last lap be? A 30.2. 0.8 of a second that time around. It's slightly less. 6 laps to go in this race. 4 seconds the gap. And Yellow's retired. He's given away points. Big shame. Big shame for Yellow. I was kind of hoping he'd stay in, even though it was only sort of a top 12 finish. It was top 12 in IRL, do score points, but fortunately he is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. The Wolf moves up to 11th and 2 points on the cards for the Mercedes man. Meanwhile, the two Saubers are starting to get close to each other. Louis now within a second of his sort of temporary teammate, shall we say, for the night.
You know, obviously Jeremy Clarkson is hanging on for dear life at the minute. Obviously 8.5 temps now just separate him and Bjorn. He's going to be doing everything possible to stick with that Aston Martin to the main straight to get the DRS. So he needs to stay in this fight. But Bjorn again, he's got it down to 3.2. That's another, what, 7 temps?
Well, I'll tell you in a minute once they cross the line, because obviously I got all the data for the last lap times. Merck cross the line 31.1. What does Bjorn do? It's a 29.9. That's 1.2 seconds that Bjorn has taken out of Merck on the last lap. And as predicted, the two Saubers now change places. I mean, it was right for Psychic because Psychic does have that 3-second penalty, and this now...
the older tyre.
Well, this may now allow Louis, if Louis can somehow pull 8 tenths to Sydney and get within 3 seconds of the Red Bull, Louis could get promoted to 4th place here. And Bjorn is very much hoping that happens.
But then at the same time, if he can pull Psychic with him, but
Psychic's already got a time penalty.
My apologies.
But Louis, I mean, he's got to make about just over 6 tenths of a second here on Sydney.
So what? Say 4 laps, 2. Well, as it stands, let's say 2.7 seconds.
He's taken about 3 tenths out of him so far since he's overtaken Psychic Chip. Sydney just it just seems like he's just struggling a little bit in comparison to what he'd normally do as Sydney around here. Whether he's picked up any sort of minor damage we can't see, I'm not sure. But
is Clarkson going to lose his DRS? No, he's not. He's still going to have the DRS in the main straight. But no, it's down to 2.6 seconds. This is some time here being cut out.
Bjorn only taking 7 tenths that time around. 4 laps remain in this race. He's got to take at least 0.6 a lap, and even then, in reality, it actually wants to be more than that to give him a lap of overtaking.
So what? Say 1.2.
Yeah, probably one. Not quite 1.2. Maybe if you can get to a second a lap, that will help things for Bjorn. 2.1 the gap now. Denmark has closed in. I'm not sure if Denmark's closed in on ARL or whether ARL has overtaken said Alpine. I think it's ARL overtaking said Alpine. I feel like it's the... Although saying that ARL still has to pit in this race.
Oh yeah, that's actually a fair point.
I wonder... ARL... Soft tyres at the end, fastest lap time?
I mean, probably. It's obviously 16 seconds for some boy at the minute. Obviously, it won't really. I don't think if he changed tyres it'll do much. But as it stands, that'll bump steps up to 8th as it stands. So, there he is. You can see the wing of that Haas. But it's just 2 seconds.
Bjorn only took half a second that lap. I think the mediums are starting to suffer. I say suffer. They have bridged that gap now. They're getting to that phase where the mediums start to lose that performance over the hards. Bjorn's got to work hard. The next 2 laps, he needs to get onto the back of Merckx by the end of lap 26 to stand a chance. Denmark and ARL going side by side out of the Casio triangle, and I think we're going to see ARL pit at the end of this, the 25th lap, to give him an out lap and flying lap on a set of soft tyres. Yellow saying that apparently the rain is inbound, but I can see clouds, but I don't. Are we going to get any rain? I think we're not going to get anything significant enough.
No. Obviously, if it's heavy rain, I'd imagine all cars are just going off a bit there.
And it's a bit wide as the Williams. Now that's going to mean he is outside of DRS from Bjorn de Boer. Louis now 3.3 away from Sydney. He's slowly clawing that gap back. Well, I think Sydney had a bad exit out of... no, it's
the Wolf's
the Wolf. We're not going to get a safety car. It's too late in the race. But the Wolf has crashed coming out of Degner 2, which says to me he ran wide, went all over the curves and lit the tyres up. Although the Wolf, I think, is within 90% race distance. Just about, so he will actually potentially keep those points, I think. We'll probably have to check Yellow, actually. Based on the rulebook. But Bjorn de Boer only pulled 0.4 of a second. I think Merck's going to get this done. Bjorn's going to have to do something spectacular. He's going to have a heap load of battery saved up in comparison to Merck, and we know how good Merck is with his ERS.
Well.
And as suspected, in comes ARL, who I have no doubt is saving his battery.
I will actually laugh if he goes for full wets, just as a laugh.
No, I think he's going to go. I mean, he's got himself 3 points right now. He's going to try and get himself a 4th championship point just by going fast at the end.
Well, we're down to 1.1, Jord.
He's not close enough. The problem is that main straight, you probably want to be about 7/10 behind the driver. If Bjorn does this, he's gonna, if he somehow gets within 1 second of Merckx into the detection, which I don't think he will. Detection just after 130R. Bjorn is outside detection.
Oh, just by what, 1,000th of a second?
No, not 1,000th, about nearly a 10th. He was outside of detection. Second the gap. He took 7/10 out of Merckx that time around, and now he's got an uphill battle, because now if he's going to do this, rain starts to fall. It's not going to be very significant though. It's on this final lap and not very heavy.
Obviously, I don't know. Medium imagine probably. I could see specs on the screen. Obviously.
Yeah, it's not going to be significant enough for this race. Unless it absolutely boots it down with rain. This is going to be absolutely fine, because the track will not get wet enough for it to be a problem. But a second is the gap, and I think the problem is, I think Merck's been very clever about this. He's managed this gap well, probably saved quite a chunk of ERS, so that he can sort of use it near the end of this lap. He'll keep Bjorn in check. And after the sort of surprising result of last week for Merckx, where it didn't quite go to plan for him, I'm a bit surprised by his qualifying, maybe just getting back into the game. Merckx is coming up to 130R. He's got 9.5 tenths over the Aston Martin. Louis, a big point as well. He's now less than 3 seconds behind Sydney, so that's a position change. But Merckx
through the Casio
into the Casio triangle. Through the final corner, Merckx returns to winning ways here in Japan. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix for Haas, followed by Bjorn de Boer. A great drive from near the back of the pack. Jeremy Clarkson completes the podium with Sydney crossing the line 4th, but it's going to be Louis who takes 4th with the penalties applied. Sydney 5th, Psychic Chip. A good result for him in 6th. Sunboy. A nice quiet drive really for Sunboy. He's not going to keep 7th because he's got a time penalty, but he'll take 8th. The Steps will take 7th place. In the end, Sunboy is 8th. Denmark, depending on what his penalties are, I think he might just finish just outside of Sunboy's stuff. So Denmark will finish in 9th. Now the big question, Denmark had 10 seconds anyway. ARL, can he claim an extra championship point for himself and the RB team? Through the Casio triangle he comes. Get on the throttle. Clean. Stay to the right. Stay to the right. Can he do it? Can he do it? Oh, I don't think he did.
No. Did he get the position? I'm not sure if he got the position. 10th.
He didn't get. He was
10th.
nowhere near for the position. I don't think. I think he was about 8 seconds
Ah,
outside. But he didn't pick up the fastest lap. Yeah, Yellow saying he didn't have any track limits on that lap, so before. So see lots of flashing up when that happened. But Mert on the podium, on the winner's step. It's a fantastic return to form for the former champion. Bjorn de Boer, driver of the day. I don't think you can really argue with that. 11th to 2nd. It's a fantastic result for him. And provisional results then for the Japanese Grand Prix. Mert takes the win from Bjorn de Boer. Jeremy Clarkson is 3rd. Louis 4th. Sydney 5th. Psychic Chip 6th. The Steps 7th. Sunboy 8th. Denmark 9th. ARL 10th. The Wolf 11th. Yella the Wolf, Yella, Owen, and Keza all being classified as DNF according to the game. And ARL was actually some way off of that fast lap attempt by a good 1.3 seconds. I wonder if that rain at the end just made it slightly greasy, or greasy enough because obviously he was a lot further behind the leaders on that, so the rain would have caused him more issues than anyone else, sort of foiling his plan for an extra championship point.
no. But what a race. Obviously, Japan always brings up, but that's another one valid safety car, Jod. So,
Yes, and not even a virtual
really
safety
good
car.
performance. Obviously, a few yellow flags, but pretty much was clean racing. So, I thought, well, from what I witnessed, it might be quite a quiet week for our stewards this week. So,
Yeah, ARL saying just had to manage. He was actually running a full wet setup, not trusting the game in terms of what the weather was going to do. So he says he's not trusting this game anymore. Maybe seeing there was a chance of rain. I think the biggest thing actually with obviously it is approximate weather. It's not perfect weather, so it does make for a little bit of guesswork, which you kind of get in real life as well. But adds a little bit to the fun factor.
indeed. Indeed, mate. But no. Let me just double check.
Next week we head to Azerbaijan and the Baku Street Circuit for round number 6. Obviously, the start of the second half is going to help Bjorn close that gap. And are we about to see some deja vu this season in the same way we did to last season? Sydney coming in with a commanding start, but already losing critical points to Bjorn. But we'll see Azerbaijan if he can kick back. But Mikey, tomorrow me and you get to drive this wonderful circuit, whilst the likes of Jack and ARL and possibly even Bjorn de Boer talk absolute nonsense over us like we have done tonight.
We don't talk nonsense, George. We just talk facts, mate. There's the difference. No, I'm not looking forward to it, but I imagine Jack will happily entertain everyone, as well as ARL, into telling us where we've gone wrong. But no, it's been a great night of racing. But yeah, obviously, if anyone wants to take part, obviously, sign up for the Discord. Obviously, we've always got obviously spaces if anyone wants to take part. And obviously, in the next coming weeks, we'll have updates for season 23. So we'll be able to provide them details closer to the end of the season. But yeah, anything else you wish to share, Gerald?
No, other than obviously if you did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel, and press the bell for the notifications when we go live. Every race live streamed and commentated on. It's a fantastic thing to have. It's great for everyone to watch as well. So obviously make sure you don't miss the every time we go live with those notifications. And make sure you tune in tomorrow night. Tier 2 start the back half of their season here at Japan, and it's going to be an interesting fight at the top with Pars and Ruddo leading the way in that tier. Ruddo after a slightly unfortunate race last time out at Las Vegas, but I'm sure we're going to get some really high level racing tomorrow in T2. I'm sure a lot of cars on track is going to make the race spectacular. But from myself and Mikey, thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you do, join us tomorrow for Tier 2 and for the up and coming 3 weeks left of the season. But for now, goodbye.